Caution, the following video may contain offensive content. Viewer discretion is advised, especially among children, family members, and future employers. Enjoy.
Despite this opening disclaimer, a lot of people have taken offense to the most popular video on my channel at this moment, a video that currently has over 600,000 views and is no doubt responsible for my channel gaining some 7,000 subscribers over the last year. I'm of course referring to my reacting to weird Star Wars fan art video. I slapped this video together roughly a year ago to have something extra to upload to my channel for my self-proclaimed Star Wars month, which I'm doing again this year if you haven't heard. At the time, I had something like 200 subscribers and my videos were averaging around 200 to 300 views each, so obviously I had no idea the video would take off the way it has. Within a few months, I started noticing there was a tremendous amount of activity surrounding the video, and the views began to grow exponentially. At one point, the phrase Star Wars sex was the most popular search term leading to my video. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. Regardless, I was thrilled that my channel was receiving some attention. As the views increased, I had a lot of Star Wars fans commenting, saying how much they enjoyed the video and that they found it pretty funny. However, for every person complimenting the video, I probably had 2 or 3 leaving negative feedback or stating that the video offended them in some way. As you have probably seen by the like-dislike bar, this video has become somewhat controversial. It's become so overwhelming that I feel it is necessary to address some of the complaints people have made in the comments section. This is probably a terrible idea, but I'm going to address these comments as best as I can. And if you're someone who's been offended by the video, I encourage you to watch through the end as to not take any of my comments out of context. I will also attempt to show examples of comments where applicable to illustrate each topic of discussion. So I'm going to address the biggest issue first and foremost. Many people have taken some of my comments in the video as being anti-gay or homophobic in some way, with many asking if I have some sort of problem with the gay community. The most common question asked in the comments section in one way or another is, Dalton, what are you, a homophobe? Do you hate gays? Let me answer that question as clearly and as concise as possible. Of course not, you f***ing idiots. I don't hate gays, nor do I have any beef with the LGBT community. Just because I don't like gay imagery of animated Star Wars characters doesn't make me homophobic or some kind of bigot. I just don't understand the idea of portraying 2 straight fictional characters in a gay relationship, especially as detailed as many of the photos were. In a reply to a random commenter on YouTube, I made the analogy to someone who was a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If this person had the artistic talent, it wouldn't be out of the question for them to sketch out the players or to make artwork using the Steelers logo. But if they spent hours on end painting a portrait of Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown with their hands down each other's pants, I think it would be safe to say that most people would find that to be a bit strange. But if that's your thing, go for it. That brings me to the next major complaint in the comments. Many people said that I was criticizing the artist's work and putting down their talents. I completely understand that argument, to be honest. For the most part, I was fairly harsh on the artwork and reacted with disgust to many of the images portrayed, such as the gay artwork mentioned a moment ago. But let's be fair, I also reacted this way to the straight sexualized images as well. Truth be told, I don't understand the motives for many of the artists creating some of the fan artwork that they made, but I do recognize that they are in fact talented. At one point in the video, I admit that I couldn't do any better myself. If you'd like to see an example of my shitty drawing abilities, you can check out my Grand Theft Auto 6 opinion video. My Star Wars fan art reaction video was the first video like this that I've made, so as a result, it was very experimental. Much like my first video game review, I didn't really know what I was doing and just jumped right into it. This was essentially just a goofy idea I came up with. I thought I could make an entertaining video, so I tried it out. While my reactions are grounded in reality, they are without a doubt exaggerated for laughs. Many commenters said that I was so easily offended by the images or that I was a prude for scoffing at the sexualized artwork. People were saying that I was unprepared for the world of internet fan art, that I was unfamiliar with the arbitrary internet rule 34. This couldn't be farther from the truth. They missed the entire point of the video. I knew exactly what I was getting into. I knew that when I searched for Star Wars fan art, I would eventually find sexually explicit images, and I thought it would be funny to record my reactions coming across this content. I even lingered on these images when I could have just as easily closed my browser entirely. I obviously knew what I was doing. I do believe that a lot of the artwork I looked at is downright weird, and I find it odd that these talented artists are using their abilities to draw characters from the Clone Wars making out. However, ultimately, it really doesn't bother me that much. As I said, I'm exaggerating my reactions a little for comedic purposes. The Harry Potter fan art video I made with my girlfriend more accurately displays how I feel about viewing fan art. I'm a lot more relaxed in that video, and I'm mostly just poking fun at my girlfriend while we look at it. I view people who make strange fan art in the same way I view most of the people on that show My Strange Addiction. Like that guy who's in love with his car. Yeah, okay, that's pretty fucking weird, but he's not hurting anybody, so whatever, let him kiss his car, what do I care? The same goes for these fan artists on DeviantArt. While most fan art really isn't my thing, I'm not offended by what these artists do in their spare time. They've picked up a hobby they enjoy and share it with a community who also enjoys it. The way I see it, if they're not hurting anybody, let them do whatever they want. I don't really care one way or the other. I've even encouraged viewers to share their own fan art creations in the comments section if they feel so inclined. Just as I won't let negative comments prevent me from making videos, I don't think anyone's opinions should prevent someone from creating art, no matter what kind of art it is. I'm just some guy on the internet. However, there seems to be a bit of a double standard upheld by these commenters. Many were saying that I shouldn't be commenting or criticizing the artist's work, that they've tried their best and that it's unfair to criticize what they've created. However, in any case, making your artwork public is a double-edged sword. While these artists may still be perfecting their craft and are looking for positive feedback, by posting it on the internet, they are, in essence, welcoming criticism of any kind. There is no filter on people's opinions when it comes to the internet. As a result, you should have a thick skin and be prepared for any type of feedback you receive. This is something I prepare myself for every time I post a new video. Art is subjective, just as there are many that think that Jackson Pollock was a visionary for his unique style of abstract painting, others believe that his artwork could have been created by a blind AIDS monkey. In the art world, criticism is a way to evolve as an artist and master the skills necessary of your craft. Many famous classical musicians and Renaissance painters would talk each other's creative works every chance they could. This even still happens today among modern musicians, stylists, and movie directors. Some of my more supportive commenters have pointed out that this is somewhat hypocritical for the fan art fanatics to call me names and criticize my video, but at the same time they're saying that I shouldn't be criticizing what they like on the internet. I was definitely happy to see some people rally to defend me when the trash talking was taking place. There were even times in the comments section where I was able to have a reasonable conversation with people discussing the topic. Some of my favorite interactions were when there was someone who frequented the fan art community but recognizes some of the art as being pretty ridiculous, or even a few LGBT viewers who agreed that the gay fan art was a bit much. However, the majority of comments were not of reasonable nature. I could just tell that there was no reasoning with these people. As predicted, I had a lot of comments telling me to delete my account and even to kill myself. Real classy. And of course, there were many comments that I'd be hard-pressed not to believe were posted by unattended children that shouldn't have access to the internet in the first place. I tried to respond to most of the negative comments and would often leave some sort of incredibly insightful response to ruffle their feathers. Sometimes posting entire song lyrics, photographs of Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern show, and on one occasion I copied and pasted the entire B-movie script into some troll's comment thread. There were even times I probably went a bit too far with my responses and succumbed into full-on arguments. I realized that I fell into a trap as old as time and I didn't quite have a clear head. I should have known better in many respects, but I simply wasn't used to having this much attention drawn to my channel. I also really enjoyed discussing Star Wars with people in the comments. Many were shocked to hear that I wasn't a fan of the Clone Wars, and some were even able to have a reasonable discussion about the show's strengths and weaknesses. And on the subject of Star Wars, there are a few minor topics I'd like to discuss that have been addressed by the viewers. 1. No, I don't care for the Clone Wars or for Ahsoka, that's just my opinion. I think a lot of the show's events undermines the canon of the movies, and I don't like that. If you disagree, that's fine, we all have different tastes, as I've said. 2. I'm not familiar with the Old Republic era or with the Republic Commando timeline, so please forgive me for not knowing certain characters or not knowing that those were Sith purebloods. Some of you are pretty helpful by pointing that out, but others of you just need to chill the f*** out. 3. I don't hate the prequels. Something I must have said made people think this, but it's not true. I recognize that they're not as good as the original trilogy, but I still find them enjoyable enough. And finally, this isn't Star Wars related, but it is something that's been pointed out a lot. Yes, I'm aware that in some of the images I pixelated the nudity in the full screen image, but not in the preview thumbnails. I honestly thought they'd be small enough that no one would really notice, but I was wrong. To summarize, my Star Wars fan art reaction video was meant to be lighthearted fun. My intention was never to bully the artist or to cause any kind of controversy. I knew exactly what I was getting into as far as content and thought it would be a funny video to add to my channel. However, I didn't expect so many people to be offended. I was called everything from a homophobe to an SJW and even accused of being gay myself. It's sort of ironic how so many people were pissed off for so many different reasons, often on opposite sides of the spectrum. Regardless, I hope this video helped clear up some of the controversy. I hope the majority of you now know my intentions or lack thereof. Don't take my videos so seriously. It was always meant to be a goof. And if you are still offended after all this, get used to it, you f***ing pussy, because I'm gonna keep on making them. Deal with it, bitch. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on social media. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.